Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Inside Golf. I'm Harry Donahue. We have a full-packed show for you coming up this week. It includes a look at a very unique field trip taken by some third graders from the White Marsh Elementary School recently. They went to the Philadelphia Cricket Club for the first green project. Boy, what a great idea to show these kids how grass is grown, how they cut a hole into a green, how they mow the greens, everything about a golf course and agronomy all in one day for some special third graders. Also coming up, a look at the volunteers who helped the Golf Association of Philadelphia conduct its many events and tournaments and make it a smooth experience for everybody involved. And a very special human interest story. 90-year-old Ed Yost. You probably never heard of him, but back in the day, he was a handyman at FlourTown Country Club. In fact, he built the bedroom where Gary players slept in the clubhouse back on Bethlehem Pike back in the late 50s when he first came to the States to try to make it on the PGA Tour. It's a full-pack show, and it's next on Inside Golf.
Inside Golf, now celebrating its 20th season, is presented by Destination Montco Golf. 54 courses, 300,000 yards. Check them out at montcogolf.com. By the First Tee of Philadelphia. The First Tee helps young men and women become better golfers, but most important, better people. Get involved. Visit thefirstteephiladelphia.org. By the Golf Association of Philadelphia. GAP, celebrating amateur golf since 1897. By Jersey Man Magazine, it's a Jersey way of life. And by Philly Man Magazine, bringing it to Broad Street. And by Inside Golf's partner since 1998, the Philadelphia Section PGA, experts in the game and business of golf. Take time to thank your local PGA golf professional.
Along with being stewards of the game of golf, your local PGA professional wears many hats.
We are teachers.
We are players.
We are managers.
We are merchandisers.
And community leaders.
But we all wear one badge.
PGA professionals are well-trained experts who work hard to share the joy of golf with our neighbors for over 90 years. To find your local PGA professional, visit phillypga.com. Brought to you by the Philadelphia section of the PGA.
We are the experts in the game and business of golf.
Success requires hard work. No way around it. Realize timing is key. Be willing to push yourself. Stay in control. Trust technology to support you. My father once said, "Doesn't matter what you do in life, just be the best at it."
Welcome back to Inside Golf today at the Philadelphia Cricket Club. This first green project is really the first time they've been in the Philadelphia area. Philadelphia Cricket Club is hosting, and what a field trip it is for 100 third graders from the White Marsh Elementary School in the Colonial School District. It's not far away, but they've come here today to take a few swings. How do you like this little wedge? But maybe more importantly, find out how a golf course is maintained by some great golf course superintendents.
You can see that's our profile.
Back up.
Over here. Yeah, why don't you stand over here? I'll give you guys a. You guys want to feel this? What does that feel like to you guys? What does that feel like?
Feels like the sand's over there.
Feels like the sand, right?
Feels like fine sand.
Yeah.
Well, for 20 years, and I don't know how, he must have started when he was 10, Bill Rathgaber has been a third grade teacher at White Marsh Elementary School. Bill, what is the attraction for not just you as a teacher, but for these 100 students of third grade?
Oh, I was so excited when the first green came to us because as a teacher, an educator, and an enthusiast of golf, kind of blending these two together, I was very excited about it. Kids drive by these golf courses all the time and maybe not realize what goes into a golf course, the upkeep, the science behind it, the math behind it. That's what the kids are experiencing today. So really excited to be invited here today for the kids to learn about what it takes to run a golf course and how the golf course affects the surrounding community.
It's not your ordinary field trip, is it?
No, it's not. When they came to me, I was very excited about this. My kids were really excited about it, and I love seeing their excitement today. They have clubs in their hand. They're digging in the dirt over there, learning what goes into keeping up the greens, what it takes to place a pin. A lot goes into a lot of science behind it, and that's what I think our kids are going to take away from it.
What's that number?
23.3.
23.3, and what that means is in the soil, it's 23% water right now, and the rest of it's filled with little sand particles.
Dan
So that means
Mearsman
this
is
being
the Director of Grounds here at Philadelphia Cricket Club. Dan, give me a little bit of the background, the origin of how this program got to Philadelphia Cricket.
Okay. Yeah, so the first green program originated in the state of Washington, and happened to be out at a Seattle event where I saw it in action, and then a couple years later, now they have a great relationship with the United States Golf Association, the Golf Course Superintendents Association of America, and they were looking for volunteers to start one in Philadelphia. And we volunteered for this event, and we're just so blessed to have so many great affiliate associations in the area that stepped up to make this a great day, both locally and nationally. Whether it's Morris Arboretum with tree care, USGA on the turf care. We just want to share the kind of how we take care of properties. Let's have some fun with some golf functions as well. PGA of America is here, GAP is here, First Tee of Philadelphia is here. So it should just be a great day for the students.
Well, fancy I meet Leela Mackey here, right?
Hi,
we keep running into each other on
no
golf
see.
courses. Leela, what is, from your standpoint, valuable about this day, this first green project?
Sure, it's a great initiative. Not only does it get kids in the game, gets them swinging and learns the game, but also it teaches them about the environment and how to take care of a golf course and how important it is to take care of the trees and the grass around it. So it hopefully promotes them to maybe think about a career in golf management or superintendent or whatever. So really it's just, as an Allied Association, it's a win-win for everybody, for sure.
Did you ever have a field trip like this when you were in third?
No, I didn't. I'm so jealous of these kids. I know.
Well, it's not every day somebody can get a lesson from the executive director of the Golf Association of Philadelphia, Mark Peterson. You having fun out here?
That's good and bad about the lesson. Having a great time. Golf is always fun for the player, but sometimes we forget about all the work that the superintendents, the golf professionals, the general managers, and we've got a great collection of allied groups here that play such an important role in golf. It's fun to all come together. That is a great
Look at that shot.
Yeah, that's better than you and I can do.
Especially when I was in third grade.
Exactly.
Mark, thanks for what you do for golf.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
Oh! Showing off for the camera, aren't you?
Well, the president of Philadelphia Cricket Club, no stranger, by the way, to Inside Golf, is Michael Vergere. And Michael, we come over here to see golf tournaments all the time. Great facility, we love it, but this is a little different, isn't it?
It is indeed, and it's good to have you back here, Harry. This is another side of this game. Most of us think about the tournaments and the championships on TV and all the competition that's out there. But, for the average golfer, the best part about this sport is just being outside and getting to appreciate our environment out here. So to be able to bring out these kids from White Marsh Elementary and have them play around out here and get comfortable is a nice opportunity for us, and we're so happy to be able to do it.
And right in the middle of your two hands coming together is a stream or a river, okay?
Lindsay Blanton is with the Wissahickon Valley Watershed Association. And what's your title there, Lindsay?
I'm the Water Quality Outreach Coordinator.
Okay. Now, you have several props here.
Yes.
As the students come over. You're one of the stations, and you're located right next to a creek.
Indeed.
So that's obviously an area of expertise for you.
Yes.
But what exactly are you giving to the students in terms of knowledge about water, the way it flows, and where it settles, and everything?
So this is an Enviroscape model, and essentially it shows how a watershed functions. So educators use this model to show kids in a salient way how water moves. We show how pollutants like litter or fertilizer or waste from cars, oil, flows into a creek when it rains. And we're standing by this creek. This is the Lorraine Run, which flows into the Wissahickon, and we've collected some little critters from the creek. We have fish, we have bugs that live in the creek, we have a crayfish, and so the kids kind of look at all of this life that exists in the creek, and then they understand that this dirty water that may come off the land is not good for the critters, and kind of think about how what they may do on land affects the water.
Ever done a similar field trip experiment and educational event like this?
Yeah, so we take this model to festivals or libraries and schools, and it's a really, really great tool to kind of get that that concept into kids' minds about the land affecting the water.
Because they're big thugs and they take over everything else and push it away. But some, like this Norway spruce, you just plant them and they stand there and they go, oh, I'm okay here.
Well, I'd like to personally introduce Kayani and Brooke. Both are third graders and on their field trip today with their fellow students from White Marsh Elementary. Let me ask you, Kayani, have you ever been to a golf course before?
I have not.
No? What's your impressions? What did you like about today's field trip?
Well, I liked how when we were learning about the trees, the person said that sometimes when the leaves fall and they're still green, it's because they get a disease and they start to kind of turn brown.
Right. And now, Brooke, you've been on a golf course before, right?
Yes, I have.
So this is nothing new for you to be around a golf club.
No, not really.
What did you learn today? What's something maybe you learned today you never knew about before?
I learned how they cut the holes.
The holes where the ball goes in?
Holes, and I learned how they when they take it out, and if there's another hole, they take out the cup for it and they put in that, so it'll be a whole new hole.
So this was a pretty good trip for you girls today, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah? Are you glad you made it?
Yes.
Well, we're glad you did too, and this is information you're going to have for the rest of your life. You know that, right?
Yep. Yeah.
That's pretty good. Thanks, ladies.
Okay, everybody, 3-minute heads up.
Well, what an experience. Not a typical field day for these third graders from the White Marsh Elementary School. You know, the course designer here at the historic Philadelphia Cricket Club once said that a golf course planner should have two aims: to produce something which provides a true test of the game and to consider every way to make it as beautiful as possible. I'm sure that Tilly would have really enjoyed being here, but more importantly, seeing what these kids could experience on their field trip today thanks to the First Green Project. So we want to thank the staff here at Philadelphia Cricket Club, in particular Dan Mearsman and his staff, and all the participating organizations from near and far that made this a very special day, not just for these students, but also, I'm sure, for our viewers. More to come on Inside Golf.
Hey viewers of Inside Golf, have you heard about Jersey Man and Philly Man magazine? Published by ex-Eagles and Philadelphia Stars tight end Ken Dunnick, these magazines offer the very best in content on subjects of interest to men. Writers include Glenn Macnell, Bill Line, and George Anastasia. And you can increase your business by attending our monthly private parties as an advertiser. Call 856-912-4007 or email ken@jerseymanmagazine.com for more information.
Welcome back to Inside Golf. Time now to take a look at the volunteers for the Golf Association of Philadelphia. Last year, you may recall, we did a show on the people that do the rating of golf courses that are members of the Golf Association of Philadelphia. We went to the A's Club and saw what they did. Well, there's more volunteers to take a look at today. People that are like starters or scorekeepers. Here's Marty Emino.
Thank you, Harry. Volunteers are the lifeblood of the Golf Association of Philadelphia. More than 200 total men and women donate their time throughout the year to keep the oldest regional or state golf association in the country running strong.
I think one of the great things about volunteering for any type of association, whether it's golf or your local community type association, is everyone can volunteer. Everyone has something to offer. Whether you're a female, a male, a junior, when you take a look at how we run our tournaments, you see people from all walks of life. But they have one common thread, and that is the love for the game of golf.
Okay, this is the 8-10 grouping featuring Dwayne Pinnock of Rivercrest Golf Club.
This is my 4th year of volunteering for the Golf Association of Philadelphia. I find it to be a wonderful opportunity to support the game that I love. It's great to involve myself with an organization like GAP and the work that they do to promote and cultivate the game of golf here in the Delaware Valley. And we'll be ready to go in a few minutes. Thank you.
Overseeing the organization is the executive committee. The board is comprised of 18 total men and women who donate their time and talents in making the GAP's heavy decisions. Their focus is keeping the association moving in the right direction so it can prosper.
When you're involved on the player side, you only see one thing, right? You see the competitions, how well they're run. When you get inside, and I guess under the hood, you understand and learn that the Golf Association of Philadelphia does so much more than just run world-class events.
When I was asked to join the executive committee of the Golf Association of Philadelphia, it was time for me now to give back to golf. And so I thought, well, that would be a nice opportunity. So being the first woman on the executive committee was a little daunting, but I thought, well, somebody needs to do it. GAP is all about preserving and protecting and promoting the game for men, women, and juniors, and that's what we do, and we're good at it. And I think it's a nice association in that they don't rest on their laurels. They're always looking to improve and to be more inclusive.
The executive committee may be the face of the boardroom, but it's course raters and tournament volunteers that are the true foot soldiers. Course raters visit more than 30 golf courses a year, measuring, evaluating, and calculating. Their hard work allows golfers of all ages and skill levels to play an equitable match. Translation, they are the ones who mold your handicap. On the tournament side, there are 4 jobs: scorer, scorecard checkpoint official, starter, and rules official. All are highly visible and necessary in a tournament player having an enjoyable experience. Minus the golfing, of course.
Okay, a couple things to point out here, gentlemen. First of all, I'll point out that stones and bunkers are movable obstructions, and that the driving range, the practice putting green, and the parking lot are out of bounds.
Starters are the first point of contact. They provide a golfer with all the necessary information from hole location sheets to various local rules. They have a heavy interaction with the player to get his day off to a good start. If you run into an issue on the golf course, the rules officials are there to help you. Yes, help you and guide you.
But you're good to go. All right. And play well today. Thank you very much. I just think the whole community of the Golf Association of Philadelphia is one of my favorite things, is that because you get to meet a lot of nice people and you see them over years and years, and you develop really good friendships over a lifetime.
Checkpoint officials keep the public informed of scores by asking players for cards at certain hole increments during a tournament. They are the reason friends and families can follow from afar. And scorers verify the scorecard at the end of a round. They make sure there are 2 signatures and all the boxes are filled.
We've got over 150 people that give back to the game. That's all they're really concerned with. A good group of people to be around. We couldn't do it without them. Live scoring, rules, checkpoints for pace of play, all the things that these guys carry out, including going to training every year to come back and do a better job. So it's a great group of people to be involved with.
As you can see, there are many jobs and many people needed to keep the Golf Association of Philadelphia performing at its peak level. Golf's the game of a lifetime only because the volunteers make it so. For the Golf Association of Philadelphia, this is Marty Emino.
I'm standing in an office on the 2nd floor of the Flourtown Country Club in Montgomery County. It's an office now, but more than 50 years ago, it was a bedroom to one of golf's greatest. Gary players slept here. That story next on Inside Golf.
Welcome back to Inside Golf. Today we're at Flourtown Country Club in Flourtown, Pennsylvania, Montgomery County, and we're taking a look back at what used to be here. Who better to have with us than Ed Yost? Ed Yost, believe it or not, worked here at Flourtown Country Club when George Fazio ran the place back starting in the 50s, Ed, right? You were how old at the time?
I was like 27, 26.
And George Fazio was, of course, a big-time golfer. I mean, here's a guy that in 1950 went to a playoff out at Merion in the U.S. Open, losing to the great Ben Hogan.
Ben Hogan.
But George was a local guy who grew up in the Norristown area.
Right.
Prominent golfer. But let's talk about Ed Yost and George Fazio and Flourtown, and in particular, George brought here back in the late 50s, a young kid, he was 22 at the time, by the name of Gary Player from South Africa. And you remember when Gary arrived on the scene, huh? Tell us about that.
Dude, George, my brother was the manager of the clubhouse, and it was the old Sunnybrook. This new addition wasn't there. So he brings this young kid in, 22 years old, and we had built him, my brother and I built him a little privacy room in the locker room upstairs, so he have some privacy. And he would go across the street with the Flourtown Diner.
Which is no longer there on Bethlehem Pike, right? I don't think it is.
No, it's not there. It's a doctor's complex.
Okay, sure. So Gary worked here and actually lived on the second floor of the Tudor Clubhouse here at Flourtown.
That's right. He was here for at least 7-8 months, I think.
Okay, because I know later on he moved up the road a little bit to Bucks County, right?
Langhorne.
George
yeah.
ran that place
George
too.
owned that, from what I understand. He owned that course, so it went. And he was instrumental in getting him a job at Langhorne Country Club so he could qualify
for the PGA
Tour.
Well, let's talk about, okay, so you were telling me before we went on air about you were the starter, and when things got maybe a little slow, George Fazio and Gary Player would head right over to the first tee, and what would happen?
Drop some balls and start hitting balls down to the second tee, and I would get a basket.
Were they hitting driver?
They were hitting. I asked them. I didn't know much about golf then. I was a young kid. I asked them, what are you hitting? I knew at different clubs. And they both were hitting 4 irons. They were hitting those about 190.
Okay.
I had a basket.
And never moved?
I didn't have to move very far. I'd go over here and I'd go over there. And those balls were bouncing and I'd catch them on a bounce.
Now, Gary Player went on to win, several majors. He traveled the world. He's probably the first international golf ambassador. But he's called the Black Knight because he always dresses in black. Did he dress in black then when he was 22?
Black jersey, black trousers, black shoes.
How about that? Let's fast forward just a year ago. You're up at Skip Pack, which is up in Route 73. A friend of the show of Inside Golf is Skip Pack Golf Club. And tell the story, what happened.
I'm up there with Bobby Shepard and his sister. I went up there, I usually go up on a Thursday. As I'm driving by the driving range, I see all the lights on. And I said to my lady friend, wonder what's going on there. When I got inside the little bar restaurant, the owner said to me, Eddie, Gary Player's down there. Down where? Down the driving range. He's giving a demonstration for a fundraiser for his grandson. You're kidding. Yeah, he's really down there. It's at night, dark. All the lights are on the driving range. I jump in the golf cart. We go down there, and we meet Luke, his son, his grandson.
His grandson.
Nice kid, tall, good-looking boy. And it was Bobby Shepard's sister. She was driving the golf cart to take me down there, and she said, Luke, this is Ed Yost. He knew your grandpa when he first came over from Africa, Johannesburg. He's 22 years old then, your grandpa. So the kid jumps in the golf cart. We all ride up to where Gary Player's sitting in the car. It was dark. His passenger side. And Luke, the grandson, says to Gary, this man, me, knew you when you were in Flourtown, 22 years old, just 22, when George Fazio brought you over here. And he's shaking my hand. He says, yeah. And I used to get you milkshakes at the Flourtown Diner. Yeah. And then we built a little gym thing for you. Yeah, he squeezed me all the time.
The handshake's getting a little tighter, Ed?
Tighter.
That's a great, and that's almost
true story.
So you hadn't seen Gary Player in like 60 years. And you took him down memory lane to talk about his days here at Flourtown. You got a hat here that says George Fazio, Palmetto Dunes. I believe it's in Hilton Head. There's the logo for the state of South Carolina. But George was quite a guy. You're quite a guy, and both of you is part of the long history here at Flourtown Country Club. 92 and still telling stories about Gary Player at Flourtown Country Club. Thank you. And Skip back. All right, we'll be back. More of Inside Golf coming up in just a moment. Well, our thanks today to Marty Emino of the Golf Association of Philadelphia, to Dan Mearsman, Director of Grounds at Philadelphia Cricket Club, for that first green project, and also to my good friend, yes, Ed Yost. How about that story? 90 years old and still remembers the first time he met Gary Player. Where? At Flourtown Country Club. Boy, what a story. Now, next week, we'll be right here at Medford Village in South Jersey. You know, this course opened back in the 50s. It was called Sunny Jim's at the time, and it played to 7,300 yards. Imagine that, with persimmon clubs and golf balls that, well, maybe they don't go as far, we know that, as they do today. But Medford Village is still going strong, and we'll take a look next week. I'm Harry Donahue. Remember, no matter how bad it's going for you out there, don't pick up. See you next time on Inside Golf.
Inside Golf, now celebrating its 20th season, is presented by Destination Montco Golf. 54 courses, 300,000 yards. Check them out at montcogolf.com. By the First Tee of Philadelphia. The First Tee helps young men and women become better golfers, but most important, better people. Get involved. Visit thefirsttphiladelphia.org. By the Golf Association of Philadelphia, GAP, celebrating amateur golf since 1897. By Jersey Man Magazine, it's a Jersey way of life. And by Philly Man Magazine, bringing it to Broad Street. And by Inside Golf's partner since 1998, the Philadelphia Section PGA, experts in the game and business of golf. Take time to thank your local PGA golf professional.